One, and hi, my name is Lyric, and today we're going to be continuing the Christian A Comprehensive History series with Christian A Comprehensive History Part 5. If you've not seen the first 4 parts of me reacting to this series, make sure to watch them because, we're trying to watch the entire series, and obviously it's going to take a while, so this is going to be like an ongoing thing on the channel. We're just going to continue watching these, and they keep coming out too, so we're going to keep watching these. It's a first time reaction to all of these, obviously. And where did we leave off last time? He was trying to make the Sonichu franchise into a full thing. Love Quest not going well. Whole thing with Megan especially not going well. Not being great to her in the slightest. Not very good to her in the slightest. A bit of a sign of things to come on what he would do later with bad things with women. So let's go. And before you I have the hiccups, so sorry. Before you continue watching this video, make sure to actually subscribe and like the video, because I got a video a few days ago that got more views than I have subscribers in 2 days. So more people watched it, and then people have clicked the subscribe button in 2 days. It takes so much less time to watch a video than it does to actually subscribe. It takes more time for me to say subscribe and like It takes more time for me to say the words subscribe and like than it takes for you to actually subscribe and like. So please do that if you enjoy the videos, because it means a lot. It means a lot to me. Also, make sure to leave a comment, because I read every single comment, and I try to reply to the ones I have a good reply to, I think. So yeah, let's begin. Christian A Comprehensive History, Part 5. Once again, these are always long, like 40 minutes, so be sure to grab some popcorn, maybe have this on the background or something. This music is iconic, by the way.
What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Christian.
Here we go, man. Part 5. I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped. This is a legendary series, man. This is like YouTube history. This is internet history right here. Like this is actually one of the greatest documentaries ever made, probably. I've only seen 4 parts of it, but if it's like those 4 parts for 60 straight parts, this is one, and it's covering a dude's entire life. This legit, like, as a YouTube documentary just made by some dude who's just fascinated with Christian, and just documented his life on the as a series on YouTube, is one of the greatest documentaries ever made.
Encyclopedia Dramatica page.
Oh yeah, he's becoming an internet figure now. So I know he gets trolled a lot eventually. I don't know what the specifics. I just know one of the first things you hear of when I heard of Christian was how much the internet trolling affected him, and I'm curious to see how much it's going to play a role in the series, because we're in part 5 of 65, and he's already been discovered on the internet and already has his own encyclopedia page, and people are drawing fan art and stuff. He was not too happy about in the last part at all.
It was created. Someone updated it by uploading an infamous internet-based photograph called Goatsy, which graphically depicts a naked man stretching his anus with his fingers snugly within his rectum, dilating his orifice to an inhumane diameter. This upset Chris so gravely that he took it upon himself to edit the page to make himself appear more appealing. For example, a paragraph noting his racism was changed to, "Oh yeah, he's also old-fashioned. In his idea of a sweetheart, she is not black.
Oh
He's
no.
cool with adoption,
Oh
but
no.
his dream of his future daughter calls for blood, tears, and seminal descent."
Oh
Not
no.
only did he reword sentences and correct historical inaccuracies, but he also extensively added personal information, a tactic which he called information overload. While his intention was to evoke sympathy, it only succeeded in fueling the fire for the trolls. In a way to reassert his heterosexuality, he uploaded—
That's always what he has to do, bro. Is Christian like secretly gay? Or bi or something? He's probably not gay, but is he like secretly bi? And he's just really doesn't like the fact that he's bi. He keeps trying to hide it by like making himself so straight and homophobic.
several of his own sexually charged drawings,
That's a theory.
such as one of Sonichu and Rosechu having intercourse,
Oh
a
no.
naked Mary Lee Walsh masturbating, Bubbles and Black
Does he? So does he like Marilee Walsh or not? Does he like not like her but like her, you know what I mean? I'm confused, what?
Sonichu having sex, and an image called She Came for Quick, which depicted Chris satisfying an unidentified naked woman with his fingers. Those exposed to the picture felt that the woman bore a striking resemblance to his twin sister Crystal, and were convinced that it was an illustration of incest. The fact that
that did not age well at all.
captioned the image with
All I'm gonna say is I'm glad Chris Chan doesn't have a sister.
"Your sister has come for me" didn't help. Outside of his illustrations, he reflected on his obsession with Megan, admitting that he no longer pined for her, and talked about pleasuring himself using his inflatable sex doll, Officer Nasty. He restated his purpose. "I will continue to shove the true facts from my heart and soul down your throats, only until you take this whole page down for good." Chris would go on creating new accounts and further altering the page for the next few years. As the year 2007 drew to a close, Christian bought an anime-styled sex doll named Kimmy, and continued to email Megan, telling her that he would meet Lori soon. And on New Year's Eve, he sent an email to a friend of Megan's, which contained a new freestyle poem called "For My True Love, I Would. For my true love, I'd treat her tenderly, sweetly, gently, like a summer breeze. I'd caress her skin gently with my strong fingers.
Oh, I don't mention your fingers after that drawing, bro. Stop.
I'd take her to eat and provide for her to my ability. I'd start small at McDonald's."
I know this man is not writing a romantic poem and started off with, "I'll take her to McDonald's."
Then let it get better in due time. If she is willing to allow the pleasure, I'd lay her down, caress her gently, tickle her fancy, have her tickle my fancy, and give it to her, with the learned, lonely experience I've endured. I love you will be shared daily with a French side dish. I am her soldier, to do for her as she sees fit. In January 2008, Christian created a Facebook account, which he used much in the same manner as his other social media outlets, such as MySpace. He managed to befriend several women in his general vicinity and tried to engage in conversations with them. "Hi Christina, I have read your profile and I find you quite interesting. You're pretty, honest, and smart. If you'd like, I'd like to meet you for a soda or coffee and get to know you better over a pleasant conversation. I also hope you will accept my friend request I have submitted earlier. Please reply if it's all cool. Okay, well, I'm 17 and about to be 18 in a few months, but yeah, I love to party and all that good shit.
Chris, you're like 25 at this point, bro. You gotta abort mission.
So hit me up."
You gotta abort
Christina,
mission.
While I don't know what it means to hit me up, I'll assume it means to talk to you more. I look forward
I mean, he assumed the
to
definition.
meeting you in person and learning more about you. And if you need a tutor for a school subject, I can probably help you. I've excelled in math and English subjects.
Well, we saw that paper when he like turned to Spanish midway through, and the first, I think I underrated the comedy on that one. The number one was use standard written English, and then midway through he just changed it to Spanish. I don't know if he's gonna help you that much in English.
Yo tom apostrophe a 2 años de español de nuevo en
He just said that to turn to Spanish.
mi escuela secundaria, and I took 2 years of Spanish in my high school. Take care, Chris Chan. Okay, yeah.
He's now actually, so is he starting to call himself Chris Chan at this point? Because Chris Chan was kind of at this point, he was calling himself Christian Weston Chandler, but his character in the Sonichu comics was Chris Chan, I believe, if I remember correctly. So now he's actually starting to call himself Chris Chan. I guessing because of the Wikipedia page on him called him Chris Chan because they discovered him from the Sonichu comics. So he is actually calling himself Chris Chan at this point.
Of Spanish in my high school. Take care, Chris Chan.
Why did he end it with a semicolon like it was a line of code?
Okay, yeah, well, here's the thing. First of all, I'm 17 and you're too old. And second of all, you know you're too old for me. And third of all, I'm not into all that Christian shit, but I would still love to be friends with you. And I don't know very many Christians who like to party, cause I'm a hardcore party girl. So, no, nothing like what you may be thinking. I just wanted to be friends with you. I'd wait until
I don't know if you do, my guy.
you were at least 18 before taking it further. Also,
being kind of creepy, bro.
I can party, I just don't get invited much. There's nothing wrong with simply meeting for a pleasant conversation and soda pop. I promise I would not lay a finger on you.
Guessing from what Megan said, I don't believe you.
Okay, well, a little FYI, I'm on probation and house arrest, and I might get locked up tomorrow for breaking my probation, so let's just take it day by day. I mean, I don't know Ooh at all, and people might talk about me hanging with some older dude who I don't know. But I do hang at DQ, Dairy Queen, every day
Dairy Queen
after
is OG.
school. So drop by and see if Ooh can find me. Holla boy. After Christian sent another message divulging more details about himself, communication with Christina ceased. He also
Yikes.
engaged in a chat with Christy, who accepted his invitation for a chat over coffee or soda, but he ultimately declined her acceptance when she revealed that she was a single mother. He
Ugh.
also messaged a Danielle, whose boyfriend in
At
response
17?
threatened Chris.
That's not good. She doesn't like you. Well, that wasn't called for. My heart was in enough pain without that statement. Why doesn't Danielle
On
like
January
me?
20th,
Nice.
Christian pleaded on Facebook for people not to believe what has been written on Encyclopedia Dramatica. There are some cyberbullies who have taken my words and feelings out of context and twisted them into meaningless mockery. Please do not believe those terrible rumors. I am a good man who needs a female sweetheart to soothe my pains from loneliness, stress of social influences, and heartaches. Please help me, so I can help you one day. 4 days later, he described his near encounter with a lady at the Alderman Library. I was playing Sudoku on my PSP, and I was listening in on this conversation between a couple of cute ladies just to my right. I've enjoyed just listening to them talk about their things. I will not divulge any details, because I am the man who will keep a secret.
Judging by the fact we know every detail about your life, bro, I don't think you keep much secrets.
Plus, I don't know all the details. Anyway, after one of the two left, the gal that stayed sitting next to me talked on her cell in what sounded like Dutch or German. It was the perfect opening for a conversation towards making a new gal pal. I had it in my head. Pardon me, I couldn't help but overhear you chat on your phone. But was that Dutch or German you were speaking? I had the nerve set up. I was raring to say it. But when I started to say it, the tension and my shyness and my autism choked me, literally.
That's
I could
understandable.
not even open my mouth to say anything. And she left. I'm kicking myself now. Anyway, that is how
Sarah Jackson says, "Oh, don't worry, Chris. I'll come and visit you, and you can talk to me."
shy I am. I'm so shy that I just freeze or choke upon starting to talk to a new girl I don't know yet. Through his Facebook updates, it was revealed that he regularly attended Grace Baptist Church in Charlottesville. Since Chris was told that Lori Lopez was going to go out with Joshua Martinez instead of Chris, he edited the ED page in order to convince the trolls to ruin Joshua's reputation instead. Look, pal, if you really want to take down someone who has a reputation, consider one Joshua Martinez. Ladies come a-running from at least as far as New York City to his house in Dyke, Virginia. Not just any ladies, but
That's the
stars
name
like
of the
Megan
town?
Fox, Jessica Alba, Jessica Biel, Jessica Simpson, and plenty other whores. He also has been piggybacking on the stardom of Vanessa Hudgens, singing with her in her Latino albums, and starring with her in various HBO movies, and even worse, Transformers 2.
Oh no.
He has her and some other gal named Brittany for both of his simultaneous girlfriends. Dual marriage in the works here. He's a more lucky SOB than I can ever surmount to. Ruin his reputation. Joshua Martinez. P.S. You did not hear this whole thing from me. The editors of the page didn't bite. In March, becoming increasingly troubled at all the attention Chris has been receiving, Megan requested that he take down all references to her on the internet. However, it was too late.
That's understandable.
She discovered that she came for quick pick and recognized the woman in it to be herself and
Oh,
confronted
no.
Chris. I didn't realize how much of an a-hole I could have been. I was caught up in the rage from that weekend in November when I did that. I couldn't even see straight, but I have done what I should have done long ago. Inform AOL, as well as other places on the web who can take down offensive websites and pages. I've really shot myself in the foot, and I am sorry. Not only am I mad at myself for being such a complete enraged a-hole, but my rage against those jerks who put that page up in the first place.
You know, he's getting some self-responsibility here. That's good. We haven't seen that much from him
with
yet.
greater flame because my closest friend got hurt emotionally. That's you. I will see to that website's demise, or my name isn't Christian Weston Chandler. Megan, I'm sorry for hurting you. 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 Thinking that repeating that phrase was enough recompense for Megan, his next email focused on his investigation on who took the picture of him at the game place, launching this entire campaign of hate against him. In response, Megan wrote about her shock concerning her depiction. I'm very much scarred by that image, and it will never leave me, and I can't decide what's worse, the image in general, or the fact you intentionally drew it and gave it to the webmaster for that site that you hate so much. Not only have you poured gas on the fire by doing that, adding obscenity to the already horrific site, but you have also embarrassed and humiliated me, and degraded and demeaned me,
That's
whether you
understandable.
realize it or not. Okay, well look, I'm unsure how I feel and what to do, so here's what I think. I'd like for you to just completely leave me alone for a while, until I can sort things out myself. You understand? It's not like I hate you, but I don't see you in the same light anymore, so just leave me be for a while. Let me try to recuperate with my few other friends.
The fact that
And
she
maybe-
doesn't hate him at this point shows that he could have had a friend at this point. He could have had a friend that would have lasted for a long time, but he is fucked up in like so many
I can
ways.
just start from scratch sometime.
By being a creep.
Maybe, I don't know. Just depends on how I feel, okay? So please, let me be, and let me see how it goes, okay? Completely misunderstanding her point, Chris thought that the drawing upset her so because she was naive about sex and didn't truly understand what was being depicted, ironically revealing his own ignorance regarding sex.
What?
You may or may not have had much exposure to sexual images as I've had, so the idea of a hand job, which was the act drawn there, as
That's not what that's
part
called.
of outer course versus intercourse,
What?
was a surprise to you. I'm sorry. If it helps put things into perspective, I can recommend finding information on the internet through this educational website I found through adameve.com. Or I recommend renting The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
I mean, that kind of is foreshadowing, isn't he? Like, cause yeah, he was born in 1982, so he's like 40 now. Well, he's not a virgin anymore, is he? Oh god, I
That
don't know.
movie touches
I don't know if he was a virgin before the incident, but
on
yeah.
some of the issues around sex.
I'm assuming he
and how
was.
it can really frustrate an older virgin who hasn't had the pleasure yet. Or I can loan you my copy of The 40-Year-Old Virgin. The point is, allowing yourself more exposure to sex acts to make yourself feel more
Oh, this is a terrible response. Oh
comfortable
no.
with that fact of life. In addition, he defended his actions. As for the drawings, while I have shoved the text information down your throat in an attempt to drown them in submission, there were too many images of penises, on there. I drew drawings promoting vaginas to go against those dickheads. I
Literally.
did the drawing of Sonichu f***ing Rose Chew. I did the drawing of Bubbles getting it from Black Sonichu. I had the idea of pairing them up in the comic book anyway. I did the drawings of Angelica and Mary Lee Walsh, that witch hag, masturbating. And I did draw the drawing
If
of
she's a witch hag, why'd you draw her
me
masturbating?
giving you a hand job from among my adult fantasies.
That's not what that's called.
With your eyes censored to conceal your identity. It was a massive step outside of my boundaries, and I
I like how he says that as if drawing her eyes, they would have gone, ah, I see, that's Megan.
did it out of anger, and I regret having done it, and I'm really, really sorry. But we all do things in the heat of anger, and or out of our boundaries, that we end up regretting later. He proceeded to remove all references to Megan from the ED page, including replacing the lewd
That's
drawing
good.
of her with a close-up of her groin. By Christian's reasoning,
Well, that's
this
not
succeeded
good.
in masking the true identity of the woman in question,
No.
even though everyone apart from Chris and Megan still assumed it to be his hypothetical sister. He also felt it appropriate to upload the cover of his fictitious PlayStation game, Christian Weston Chandler's Adult Chronicles. Megan understandably took issue with his latest development. Okay. So instead of removing that one completely, you just enlarged my crotch. Thanks a lot. Why didn't you just remove it?
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, but that just makes me more angry in a way. It's not that actual sex act that traumatizes me. It's the fact that you fantasize doing such things to me when you know I would never. It's like, how do I know you're not going to abduct me and such?
Ugh.
That was a figure of speech. You know what I mean? It creeps me out you have such thoughts about me. It's like you're stalking me, so you really need to back off. P.S. I think it's rather amusing how you complain of these people defiling you. Yes, many posts are ridiculous, but you have defiled Mary Lee Walsh and our wonderful security officers, who are
Yeah.
simply doing their job. Then you defiled me and lied about it.
She's speaking facts
You
right
need
now, to be
stop
fair.
with this mindset that the whole world's against you and start taking some responsibility for once. Example, it's wrong to hate these people when you broke the rule by soliciting/loitering. Hey, at least they're doing their job, and I support that. In an attempt to find a resolution to the issue, Chris sent an email to the Wikimedia Foundation asking if it were possible for them to take down the page due to the culture of bullying it produced, only to be told that Encyclopedia Dramatica was not part of Wikimedia and thus they were helpless in the matter. Chris once again emailed Megan berating ED, upset that the authors of the page assumed that the woman was his imaginary sister, who shared the name of his imaginary daughter, hence theorizing that Christian wanted to impregnate his mother.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Said that the authors of the page assumed that the woman was his imaginary sister, who shared the
Right.
name of his imaginary daughter,
Right.
hence theorizing that Christian wanted to impregnate his mother so he could successfully have intercourse with his daughter, who was also his sister.
Like, if this was a fictional story, it would be criticized for the foreshadowing being too obvious. Oh my god, bro.
He also revealed that drawing that image may have in fact prevented something even more heinous.
Oh
As
no.
for the drawing itself, I realized that it was done not only out of inspired fantasy, angst against ED, and love for you, but also a major release for my crazy, mixed up hormones. If I didn't have the foresight to put my pent up frustrations and feelings in the form of something, I might have become an abusive maniac. So thank God for allowing me to release my bottled up frustration.
If I didn't have the foresight to put my pent-up frustrations and feelings in the form of something, I might have become an abusive maniac. Once again, we're back with the foreshadowing. But also, so you're saying you drew a picture of you doing things to Megan so that you wouldn't do it in real life? So you're saying you drew a picture so that you wouldn't rape Megan? Is that what I'm getting at right now? If so, we're getting... I mean, how do you see the signs at this point, right? Like,
Frustrations in a more positive, yet not so politically correct, and not physically hurting others method. He insisted that if they ignored the webpage, the trolls would lose interest and forget about them. In the meantime, disgusted by everyone accusing him of having incestuous desires, Chris made it explicitly clear that the woman in the drawing was in fact his friend Megan.
no, you made it worse.
Editing the phrase, drawing pictures of himself having sex with his imaginary twin sister, to drawing pictures of himself having sex with his lost sailor soldier, Megan, who dumped his sorry ass for drawing the pic of him f***ing her. She never even had any inkling of interest.
She didn't dump you. You were never together.
What a intolerable, sad sack loser. But there was nothing more he could do to save their relationship. By the end of April, Megan had severed all ties with Chris.
That's good.
As a result of his adoration for her, he had created a veritable shrine for Megan, comprised of her
What?
own drawings that she gave him, figurines, pictures, and other media which were inspired by his desire.
We're going. Okay, this has got to be the worst episode yet, in terms of what's happening, bro. We're going downhill, bro. We're going down a steep slope. It's like Emp Lemon, bro. A downward spiral, bro. Downward spiral.
For her. Over the coming
I feel like that's what this entire series is gonna be,
years,
actually.
the shrine slowly dissipated. As an expression of humility, he uploaded an image gallery called, You Know What? I Hate Me Too, onto his ED page, which comprised of a selection of images from his comics, wherein he depicted himself getting beaten up, downtrodden, and looking unflattering. What's more, the pastor at his church discovered his online activities and subsequently expelled Christian from Grace Baptist Church.
That's fair.
But he soon found refuge in Wesley Memorial United Methodist Church. To add insult to injury, Michael Snyder, the manager of the game place, banned Chris from the store for 2 weeks, most likely due to his frequent outbursts of racism towards the African American children and the temper tantrums he threw whenever he lost.
I mean,
which
that's
eventually
fair.
resulted in an overall drop in patronage. In May, seemingly moving on from the events of the previous 2 months, Chris uploaded a gallery of photos onto the Adult Swim message boards of his Rock Band guitar controller, which he custom painted in the theme of the cartoon character Meatwad from the Adult Swim show Aqua Teen Hunger Force. On May 11th,
Nice.
he was officially baptized at the Wesley United Methodist Church.
Nice.
In June, troubles with Chris at the game place escalated to the point that Michael Snyder permanently banned him from the establishment.
Oh, wow.
In retaliation, Christian called over his parents,
I mean,
so
fair.
Snyder called the police, as he was well within his rights to refuse service to anyone he saw fit.
Right.
After this expulsion, the only form of regular social interaction he had left were his church activities. On June 25th, Brittany, who was someone who had become aware of Christian's antics online, wrote a lengthy email addressed to him in the hopes of convincing him to change his ways and move beyond always using his autism as a crutch. In August, Chris sent an email to someone he knew from the game place, letting him know that he had sent a letter of apology to Michael Snyder, but to no avail. In early August, Christian uploaded another video addressing the trolls who were dragging his name through the mud, and blamed ED for the end of his relationship with Megan, threatening to cease publication of the upcoming Sonichu issue 7 until the page was taken down. Throughout the video, he uses his glasses and hands for cartoon-like theatrics to dramatically emphasize his message.
Citizens of the internet, I present an open message to each and every one of you. Y'all should know me by now, but if you don't, I am Christian Weston Chandler, the original creator of Sonichu, the Electric Hedgehog Pokemon.
The OG.
Back on March 17th, 2000. Any dates earlier are void. I have a whole bunch of people on the internet.
He took out the glasses.
Hate. Show me a lot of hate. And I do not appreciate it. Takes me off. Y'all think I'm just a sap, a chump, dumbass, whatever you may think. But you know what?
Not completely off.
You, every last one of you who has expressed hate against me, you're the shitheads.
He once again reiterates that he is not a homosexual.
Every one of you who thinks I'm homo and calls me that because I am not, I'm straight. I'm straight. You're the homos.
Oh.
Every last one of you.
Nor is he a pedophile.
I am not a pedophork, you dorks.
A
He expresses
pedophore.
his disgust for the pornographic images others have uploaded to the ED page, stating that he prefers vaginas, referring to them by the euphemism China.
The hatred I'm getting from every last one of you who has contributed to that Encyclopedia Dramatica webpage. And every other forum, internet document, lewdly drawn pictures with dicks. I love dykes. Dykes. China. I'm straight. If I see a dick, I just look away with a moment of being freaked out.
That's why I became so fat, so I don't have to see my own dick, because they keep having to look away.
He confirms once and for all that the woman pictured in She Came for Quick is Megan.
And by the way, that is not Crystal, whose eyes are censored. That is Megan.
Oh, no, you don't. Just say it's not Crystal. You don't have to say who it is.
And just for taking it up and twisting it around as such.
He describes his simple and wholesome wish for the future.
If I ever do find the one that is to be my sweetheart, I will give her such care, such tenderness, such love. We get around to hanky-panky, that's fine. That's good. We get married. I will have my God called daughter. She will be taken care of.
No, we don't. No, what we know now. I'm very glad you don't have a daughter.
Lovingly. Those of you who mock me otherwise with such frivolous, lucrative adultery, if I ever hear any more new stuff,
Shiver me timbers.
it will weigh on your conscience with me tearing at your souls emotionally. I'll leave you with any other thoughts that you may have. But if you dare twist these words around, that will weigh worse on your conscience. The words that I provide from sound mind and heart, it will weigh heavily on you.
Oh no.
It will weigh heavily on you.
2 days later, the Christian page
Shake.
was
The trolls are shaking on their
declared
boots.
Article of the Now on Encyclopedia Dramatica. The following day, Chris emailed Bill O'Reilly from Fox News,
What?
Dateline NBC, and NBC Nightly News about his conflict with Encyclopedia Dramatica, apparently for the second time. I wish to re-report the heinous webpage of worst levels of mockery against me. This webpage has been haunting me since it originated around Halloween 2007. He
We're in 2008 now.
implicated Jason Kendrick Howell as the creator of the page, declaring him
Bro, you're 26 now,
the
bro.
head troll and directed the majority
Oh,
of his
no.
hatred towards him. He also recorded another video, urging fans of Sonichu to help take down the ED page, under the impression that he had more fans than he actually did.
Attention.
Every time he says ED, for like a split second, I think erectile dysfunction before I think, oh yeah, he's talking about the Encyclopedia Dramatica.
All Sonichu fans on the internet who do not hate me, Christian Weston Chandler. For I have an important message for y'all. If y'all would actually like me to bring up new stuff for Sonichu and conclude the stories, you can do so by having that Encyclopedia Dramatica page taken down so that I can feel more comfortable in drawing and coloring the comics that y'all have grown to love. If you want to send all your complaints for me not doing the work that I should be doing, you can send every last complaint to the one called Jason Kendrick Howe, also known as How Games or Liquid Snake.
You have a new character here.
For he is, and I quote, in an email he sent me, the creator of the Encyclopedia Dramatica ED page for me.
He urges everyone to send their hate to Kendrick Howell.
And that's for you, Jason Kendrick Howe.
Why does he refer to everyone by their first, middle, and last name, including himself?
As sure as I am to get at least 1 ounce of vagina,
1 ounce.
I have your number, and
Everyone knows I calculate how much pussy I get in weight.
you're going down.
2 days later, Chris celebrated the apparent fall of AD. In reality, the website was experiencing frequent outages and slow load times due to the increased site popularity.
Ladies and gentlemen on the internet, to all the Sonichu fans, I am pleased to announce that the Encyclopedia Dramatica, not only the web page, but the whole freaking website's going down. And to make sure it definitely goes down and stays down, do not donate any money to that website. Especially if you want to see the more
Donate to the actual Wikipedia, though.
adventures of Sonichu that I am conjuring up in my mind and drawing up.
As a reward for all the hard work his fandom had put in, he previewed unfinished drawings of a joke referencing the cartoon series Family Guy to be featured in Sonichu issue 7.
DV14, just for the sketch, just like the Family Guy show. Let's go, Ghostbusters! Let's go, let's go, let's go! Let's go, Ghostbusters! Let's go!
He also inserted references to the 1986 Filmation animated series Ghostbusters, unrelated to the Columbia Pictures movie franchise, nor its subsequent animated adaptation, The Real Ghostbusters.
Did they really have to call that show The Real Ghostbusters? Because there was already another Ghostbusters unrelated show?
Oh, my aching axles!
Through some email exchanges, Christian found an acquaintance in Robert Simmons V, who was in fact an anti-troll who gained Chris's trust by supporting his actions and creating a persona that possessed similar personality traits. He even resorted to filming videos announcing his support for Chris and his love for Sonichu, all while touting a yellow-colored Sonic necklace.
Nice.
Good evening, citizens of YouTube. I must be quiet because it's at night. I don't want to wake up my parents, so please forgive me for not talking loud, and I hope all you can.
I mean, you're already talking pretty
In
loud.
an email dated August 12th, Chris confided in Robert and confessed his adoration for Meg Griffin from Family Guy.
What?
She is not ugly. She has always been a beautiful catch in my eyes. I just do not understand.
Who is this from? Chris or Robert?
All you can hear me.
In an email dated August 12th, Chris confided in Robert and confessed his adoration for Meg Griffin
This is
from
from,
Family
this is
Guy.
from Chris.
She is not ugly. She has always been a beautiful catch in my eyes. I just do not understand how anyone would see Megan as ugly. And I feel it is very pitiful that Seth MacFarlane would make her the punching bag of most everyone else on the show, when clearly she does not deserve such torturous punishment.
How you down bad for Megan? Is this because her name is Megan? Is that why?
I am in the same boat as she is, if you think about it. I'm the punching bag of the jerks on ED who are getting their heinous lulls, a rehash of lol, meaning laugh out loud. But in my opinion, lulls means laughs under lucricities, which is obviously not good. He also admitted Robert into his elite list of men whom he does not hate. 3 days later, He recorded and uploaded another video addressed to his supposed fanbase, conceding that Encyclopedia Dramatica has not fallen.
This is an official update to all the loyal Sonichu fans on the internet and everywhere else. Well, first off, while the Encyclopedia Dramatica page, the whole website, they did manage to get their ill-gotten money, but I say, screw them. In the air!
What?
So anyway,
He addresses the scheme Trolls had to steal his Sonichu medallion.
well, I have been hearing the rumor of the medallion stealing, as you can see. It's still on me, man. Ain't nobody gonna get it off me, cause more security measures have been taken.
Security
This one
measures.
might be the real one, this one might be the false one. How are you to know? That's to your own understanding.
Chris implores his fans to contact Nintendo and Sega about producing Sonichu-related merchandise.
What you can do to see all this in fruition and officially approved distribution, you go to Nintendo.com. If you have an account, or if you don't have an account, you get yourself signed up for free. Talk about Sonichu. Build up more hype in their forums everywhere. Send them emails requesting that they bring them to fruition. They talk to me personally about bringing all that to fruition. Send them the emails, handwritten letters to their official building in Seattle, Washington. Let Nintendo and Sega know about the hype. Send them your personal requests and everywhere. Tell them to talk to me. They both, Nintendo of America and Sega of America, they know my address and my phone number. They have it in their systems. So talk to them, have them talk to me. Bring the Sonichu idea to fruition. And there's the update for now. Thank you for listening.
His ambitious plans activated the imagination of one J.K. Productions, who launched their own blog documenting the supposed development of their own Sonichu the game. Chris gave
Is there a Sonichu video game? Because I would love to play
them
it.
his full support, unknowingly endorsing an elaborate ruse, with JK being a common acronym for just kidding. On August 18th, Bob wrote a letter for Chris. In stark contrast to the one he had written during Christian's early childhood, this was much more brief, but nevertheless, still hopeful and optimistic about Chris's future. Dear Christian, at this time in life, you and Sonichu need a quest and purpose in life. Let Sonichu become a champion for autistic persons everywhere, and continually defeat the perils of autism. Sonichu could become the spokesperson for autistic persons, with an ongoing fight for them in chapter after chapter, or good deeds on the internet.
Oh no.
He could become the spokesperson from now on. You and Sonichu could become famous world.
I can't believe it, bro. This guy got hit with a real-life monkey's paw. I can't believe it, bro. He said you and Sonichu could become famous worldwide. They did, alright. They did. Not in the way you wanted, though. Not in the way you wanted. Could become a spokesperson for autistic persons. Oh no. Oh no. He got hit with a monkey's paw.
Worldwide.
They became famous, but just in the worst way possible. Oh no.
On August 19th, a 3-member group created an online female persona by the name of Blanca Weiss, whose name was derived from the Spanish and German words for white. According to her story, she was working on her own comic book and created her own character called Jigglyami, a singing Pokemon based on Jigglypuff.
Wait, what?
Words for white. According to her story, she was working on her own comic book and created her own character
Wait,
called
comic and a comic?
Jigglyami, a singing Pokemon based on Jigglypuff. She relayed this information to Christian via email and
Wait, what? So confused.
created a
Wait, I
On August
lost.
19th, a 3-member group created an online female persona
Oh, someone else created a female
by
persona.
the name of Blanca Weiss, whose name was derived from the Spanish and German words for white. According to her story, she was working on her own comic book and created her own character called Jigglyami, a singing Pokemon based on Jigglypuff. She relayed this information to Christian via email and encouraged him to have her featured in a future Sonichu issue. Chris was beyond impressed with her, and later made a full-body colored drawing of Giuliani, which she wanted to send to her home address, but she declined. In order to gain her trust, Christian talked about himself, copying and pasting large sections from his various social media
Wait, does he think she's a real girl? Oh
accounts.
no.
In return, the troll sent him this photograph as evidence of the veracity of her character, and talked more about her backstory. Chris admitted that she was growing on him.
Oh
By
no.
the next day, he was already working on a scene in the comic starring Giuliani. Blanca retorted with the lyrics for a song meant to be performed by Giuliani. He let her know that he was almost finished Sonichu issue 7, and that he would feature Blanca and Robert Simmons in special interview segments. Chris mentioned that he helped Robert overcome some problems regarding his own love quest, such as abandoning the idea of an attraction sign. I later realized that a sign made me look retarded, so I stopped long time ago.
I mean, I think you got a lot of
suggested
things to
he
make it
tried
look
to
like that,
put
bro.
himself in the center of an open area and try some Axe body spray.
Oh, no.
He stated, under the impression that Axe body spray would have the same result
Is he a troll or is he autistic or something? Like with Chris?
as is demonstrated in their infamous ad campaign. The only thing about him that I feel different about, his version of my medallion. I don't know how to describe the way I feel about it, but from looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, or oh my god. I think you can understand, but please do not tell him that I said that. Sonichu issue 7 picks up where issue 6 left off, with Chris
Why is there a picture of Megan again?
and Megan on the basketball court, chatting with Bionic, who thanks Megan for setting him up with Magaji. Bionic and Magaji's displays of affection almost bring Christian to tears, because it reminds him of his loneliness and virginity, but is comforted by Megan. They ask Magi-chan and Sonichu about pinpointing the location of the Sonichu balls, which by now are being referred
Pause.
to as Sonichu crystals, due to numerous comments made by trolls highlighting the homoerotic nuance of the term balls.
I just made
The
that joke.
purpose and abilities of the aforementioned crystals are yet to be revealed. They determine that one crystal might have been lost in the past, and if they found the one who touched it last, they would know where to find it. Magi-chan realizes that at the exact instance when Chris thought up Bionic the Hedgehog in 1996, he was hit
You remember the exact second you remembered?
in the head
2:31, 29 seconds p.m.
by what he thought was a basketball, but it was actually a Sonichu crystal. Christian randomly transitions into a Family Guy style sketch.
Honestly, Chris does kind of resemble Peter Griffin, just like in real life. Honestly, this drawing of him as Peter Griffin looks more like Chris Chan than his actual normal drawing does.
And gives Seth MacFarlane full permission to implement this idea in a future episode of Family Guy.
Honestly, Chris Chan would make for a great Family Guy joke. He needs to be brought up eventually.
The sketch in question is the one that was previewed in a video in which Chris, stylized as Family Guy's Peter Griffin, is incorporated into the setting of Filmation's Ghostbusters cartoon. Ironically, his witty reimagining of himself bears far more resemblance to his actual appearance than
Right,
his
that's
official
what I was
comic book
saying.
persona. Magi-chan says that he can bring Chris and Sonichu back to 1996 to retrieve the crystal, so he encapsulates the three into a time sphere that brings them back to Chris's time in Manchester High School. Current-day Chris happens upon 14-year-old Chris, who has a conversation with Joseph Herring, depicted as having an acne-ridden face, despite
My guy be looking like he got Bowser's back on his face. Dear God.
all known photos showing him clear-skinned and handsome. Chris is hit in the head by the crystal, and Sonichu discreetly catches it, avoiding any possible temporal tampering. Beavis and Butthead is also briefly referenced. They
Nice.
proceed to bring the crystal back to the present day, but the time sphere abruptly stops, flinging Chris out of it. Magi-chan comes to the conclusion that Chris is lost. Shenhui stopped. The crystal's power made him able to pass through my sphere. The crystals activated like rockets upon his friction from the stop, and he was propelled into the void of time. There is nothing we can do for him right now. All we can do is wait for a time warp to pen, and if I sense his presence at that moment, there is a chance I can go in and retrieve him. The time warp may open at any random time in the future. Christian's self-imposed exclusion from the storyline was in order to satisfy the many people online telling him that the Sonichu comics primarily focused on Chris rather than the eponymous hero.
Makes
Sonichu
sense.
informs Rosechu of the situation, stating that he will survive and will be in a sense watching over them like God. They embrace, with Chris depicting Rosechu's panties under her skirt, in order to defy all claims that he is a homosexual. Meanwhile, in the
Great.
time void, Chris possibly absorbs the two crystals into his hands, which cause his mind to flood with memories from his recent real-life past, which clash with the thoughts of the comic book Chris, drawing the episode to a close. The comic segues into a special section devoted to the goings-on of the KCWC radio station, hosted by DJ Jamsta Sonichu and his girlfriend,
Nice.
Lalisa Rosechu. He interviews Gigliami and her cute manager Blanca. Gigliami is portrayed with a medallion bearing her own likeness around her neck.
Nice.
Lalisa then conducts an in-depth interview with Robert Simmons V, who is said to resemble Chris in many ways. On the day issue 7 was released, Christian finished drawing the cover for the Spring Break special issue 8.
This man really made the beach episode of an anime into his comic series.
Which he sent to Blanca. For this issue, he changed the name of the comic to Rosechu. Towards the end of August, Evan Christopher George uploaded a Sonichu-related creation which he called Sonichu, which, according to his official biography, was originally a Pikachu that was raised by a swarm of Pokemon called Beedrill. Despite the drills in lieu of hands design bearing resemblance to that of Beedrill, the character's name, red goggles, and drills are derived from semen as seen in the anime series Gurren Lagann. Evan decided to email his creation to Chris in the hopes of being included in a future issue of Sonichu. However, Chris rejected the idea, instead adapting the character into a new ground bug-type female creation called Simonla Rosechu.
Alright, close enough.
Mistaking Sonichu's goggles for infrared eyelids and his cape for a shell.
Nice.
2 days later, Christian uploaded a video describing his role in the development of the Sonichu video game by JK Productions, still under the impression that it was a legitimate organization.
Alright, well, first off, I am going to give y'all some talk as suggested by my associates.
I mean, it makes sense for Sonichu to be a video game. I mean, it's made after 2 video game characters.
Who are in on the Sonichu game that's in development. I'm still thinking about the story very much. I got a big chunk of the stories in my head. It's gonna be like multiple stories, like, you know, we'll go through multiple characters, all the original Sonichu and Rosechu hedgehogs. Once we get the game project off the ground, hopefully with the assistance of Nintendo of America and Sega of America, there will definitely be the release of the official Sonichu merchandise, including officially released and distributed manufactured medallions for
The thing is, his ideas aren't so bad if his comics were good. If he didn't do some of these things in his personal life, I would actually maybe buy a Sonichu. Like, actually, when you think about it, Sonichu is low-key becoming an interesting character. Like, I think the character design isn't that bad, but his Sonichu, it's just literally Sonic and Pikachu, bro. The more, like, for some reason, he's somehow selling me on it. Even though his comics are so bad, I want to buy a Sonichu medallion. If he had not done such fucked up shit in personal life, I would actually very much consider buying a Sonichu video game and medallion.
one thing. Copies of my my CWC on TV DVD that you've seen only a few bits of on the YouTube and such, and as well as possible Sonichu
Like, if this much of his personal life wasn't out there, I think he has some good ideas.
action figures.
Or about the Sonichu franchise.
That the Sonichu comic will once again be focused on Sonichu, and that Chris will eventually return, only to retire as mayor of Quickville and give himself a smaller role in the story. He then continues to elaborate on the storyline of the game.
And then we go on to Bubbles. Everybody love Bubbles? Bubbles is the bubbly one! Anyway, yeah. She'll get more wet. I mean,
What?
all the hedgehogs will go through all the same levels, except variation. Bubbles will mostly be able to swim. Somewhat underwater versions of those levels. And a Jug, you know,
Whenever this guy mentions the word wet, I get real concerned.
she'll be flying high, casting off wing attacks against the enemies in her story.
He reveals that Black Sonichu's name will change, possibly as a response to the backlash he had received due to the racial connotations.
The name's not great.
Also, you know, for short, for Black Sonichu was Black Chew. I'm changing it. for his nickname, as it will be revealed in the upcoming Spring Break issue. Everybody have fun on Spring Break! He will prefer to be called Blake.
That's better.
Simply Blake. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, Blake's farting around with Bubbles.
Okay.
But Bubbles likes to try to think that she can keep it to herself. Like, she has like, ooh, she turned on by the dark side of the Force.
What?
And all the nuttiness that Blake will want to bring with him.
He talks about Blanca and her involvement in his personal and creative life.
It's nice to know that I actually do have a good gal pal that I've made over the internet recently, who's inspired character. She was inspired by me.
Oh
Her
no.
inspired character I've given my full approval of and introduced in the comic I just uploaded to what is now can also be considered to be Sonichu.net. Nothing but net. Screw your com. I got the net. Yeah. And she herself is the original character of the new bubblegum pop star, Jigglyami. Jigglyami. Yeah. So, like,
I really like the music. The music really fits with this series because it really does make it feel like it's a true crime documentary, which at this point it actually is.
She may, she and I might actually meet in the future, but I don't have any future plans as of this point. But I think I'll feel better with my future set when I have my sweetheart. So, thank you very much, every one of you, for your patronage. And I hope you all have a pleasant day.
Christian's newfound infamy brought him much stress and hardship, with him hardly being able to cope with the constant barrage of trolling, getting ever more challenging to
it's
discern
getting
what
worse.
was false and what was true,
He still
what
didn't
was
discover
an
Blanca's
advice
fake.
and what was an insult. But he still had his principles, his dreams and ambitions, to see himself through the most trying period of his life.
That's the end of part 5, right? End of part 5. So we went through a lot here. This is the true beginning of the trolls really becoming a big part of his life. His relationship with Megan has ended, rightfully, because I don't know what he was. Yeah, been real creepy there. That's the first real example of him being super creepy. The Sonic, yeah, he's getting trolled. He doesn't know that Blanca isn't a real person. And okay, so yeah, so it's just going downward spiral. It's just getting worse and worse. He's been kicked out of the game place. Yeah, okay, so that's it for this episode. Next episode coming next week, part 6. We're going to be doing every part of the series. Well, like I said in the beginning, subscribe and like, because it takes less time for me to say the word subscribe and like than it takes you to actually subscribe and like. And also, if you subscribe, turn the notification bell on, because the entire point of subscribing is to turn a notification bell on, is to get notifications when I upload. But if you don't click the button, that's the bell, you don't get when I upload. So what's the point of subscribing? You absolute dinguses. But yeah, bye.